We've gotten a ton of updates around Scream 5 over the past few weeks, but the biggest one of all just happened. Let's talk about it. Over the past few weeks, other than the release date, the biggest news surrounding this movie has really been casting. So we got David Arquette coming back, we've got Courteney Cox, we've got some newcomers to the series like Jack Quaid, who's in The Boys, but the one person who's kind of been holding out in a weird way is Neve Campbell. Well, today on Bloody Disgusting, it was announced that she is officially returning for the movie. The directing team Radio Silence had a statement about it where they said, "We're pinching ourselves." It's hard to express how much the character Sidney Prescott shaped our love of the movies, and to have the chance to work with Neve is truly a dream come true. It just wouldn't be a Scream movie without Neve, and we're so excited and honored to join her in Woodsboro. No big surprises there, and it is kind of funny for them to say that she shaped their love of the franchise because it's not a Jamie Lee Curtis situation. She's been the main character in every single Scream movie, so yeah, I don't know really who else would shape your love for the franchise, right? All jokes aside though, Neve Campbell also put out a statement, and it really does seem like she's excited to come back for this movie. She said, after spending time talking to Radio Silence, they have shown such love, respect, and admiration for Wes Craven and all that he's created in the Scream franchise. I'm beyond excited to step back into the role of Sidney Prescott and return to Woodsboro. So yeah, it's officially official now that the main core cast of the Scream movies is coming back, and that's pretty damn cool if you ask me. However, the situation surrounding Neve Campbell's return is kind of weird to the point where I feel like I kind of have to talk about it. So 4 months ago, when all of this movie's news started really heating up, Neve Campbell's return was the thing that kind of kicked it off. Out of nowhere, she went on an interview show with a YouTuber named Jake Hamilton, and she said that there had already been conversations about bringing her back. I mean, specifically, she said something along the lines of what she said today, which is a little bit weird. She said, "The directors have come to me with such a great appreciation for Wes's work, and they really want to honor it, and that meant a lot to me." So for her to say that and then go radio silent, see what I did there, for the past 4 months is a little bit weird. So what I'm thinking is the original plan from the start was to have all of these other casting announcements. Like, we got Dewey to come back, and then a couple weeks later, oh, we've got Gale coming back, and then build it all the way up to say, look, we finally got Neve Campbell coming back as Sidney. Isn't that exciting? And then she went on this interview show and kind of spilled the beans a little too early, because I feel like that's why the statements line up so well. It seems like they've had this plan from the start. I just thought it was worth bringing up. Knowing that the main core cast is coming back, on top of the fact that it's a completely new production company making it that obviously has plans for sequels in place, I feel like this is really shaping up to be the movie where Sidney, Gale, and Dewey finally pass the torch onto a new cast of characters, and then they just keep the ghost face going forward with Roger L. Jackson as the voice. Is that his name? Yeah, got his name right. Fuck yeah. Since we've already had 4 movies with Sidney at the direct center of them, I think the smartest thing they can really do here is set it up in a way that's similar to A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, where the main core cast is really playing a support role for a new core set of characters who are facing off against Ghostface. Like, maybe Ghostface or this new killer, whoever it is, has completely moved on from Sidney and the whole idea of going after her, because 4 movies in with that plot, like, I feel like on the 5th one, it's time to do something new and really shake it up. And if you guys haven't checked out Radio Silence's other work, like Ready or Not, they love doing misdirection type stuff, so I feel like they know everyone's coming into Scream 5 thinking they know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe one of the main characters die, but Ghostface is going to come back, and there's going to be a big reveal at the end that somehow links that character to Sidney for the 5th movie in a row, and they're just not going to do that. I don't think this movie would even be happening if it was just yet another Scream movie. The last reason I think this is going to be a movie that passes the torch is the fact that it's not actually looking like it's going to be called Scream 5. If you look at the social account that was used to announce the release date, it's just called Scream, and you could say that, yeah, that is the franchise account, so they're not going to call it Scream 5, but it was just recently made for this movie. So I feel like they're kind of calling this a pseudo reboot so people don't see a 5 on the end of it and feel like they're going to be alienated from the rest of the series. You've got the old core cast coming back for one more movie to get fans excited to come see a Scream movie, because we all know that everyone hates the words remake and reboot, and then you've also got this new cast that's going to be there for new fans to keep watching when they inevitably make a couple sequels. The biggest piece of evidence I've seen from people who think this is just a cash grab is the fact that it's coming out on January 14th, 2022. I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't know when I say that studios love to save their worst of the worst horror movies for January and February to throw out into the ether and just hope they get a resemblance of a profit from people who are in that post-holiday funk and just need to escape to the movie theater. I mean, just this year we saw it 3 times in a row with The Turning, Brahms the Boy 2, and The Grudge, which, my god, all 3 of those movies were horrible. But when it comes to Scream 5, I did a lot of digging and I really don't think we have any reason to be worried. When you look at the Scream franchise as a whole, the first 2 movies were released in December 1996 and 1997 respectively. The 3rd movie was released in February, and the 4th one, which ironically had the lowest return of all of them, was released in April. Other than the Scream TV shows, which obviously had a Halloween special, and then Scream Resurrection took place around Halloween, there's no real tie to the holiday for the franchise when it comes to the movies. And that's mainly because it takes place in the fictional town of Woodsboro, California. And if you watched my channel before at all, you know I love to complain about California's 2 seasons, summer and hell. They don't have a Halloween here. It's just like some people throw up decorations and then you got Halloween Horror Nights, which is perfect. Other than that, there's no fall atmosphere in LA. And that's a big reason why Scream has traditionally released around the winter. And honestly, after the decade hiatus this series had, especially coming off a movie that wasn't that profitable, there's not that much hype from the general audience that they can really take advantage of. Like, obviously, if it does turn out to be an awesome Scream movie, I think it's going to do well, but the general audience that isn't horror fans, they don't miss Scream. They're not sitting there like, man, I wish they would release another Scream movie. So releasing it around November, December, that territory they've had before, wouldn't really be the smartest decision. Obviously, next year there's going to be a ton of movies that got pushed from this year coming out, probably like Black Widow or some other Marvel movie like Eternals. There's going to be a Knives Out sequel, stuff that families can go see around Thanksgiving or Christmas. So releasing a Scream movie when you have virtually 0 real competition is such a smart move to me. January does have a lot of movies coming out, but none of them are very good. So if Scream's the shining light, even if it's just a decent movie, it's gonna look that much better compared to all the other crap studios love releasing around January. And just going back to movies that were punted from 2020 into 2021, next year is going to be insane for horror if theaters open up. We've got Halloween Kills in October, we've got Spiral from the Book of Saw in the middle of the year. I guarantee you movies like The Conjuring 3 and Candyman are also going to be delayed. So if I'm bringing back Scream after a huge hiatus, I want to make sure the playing field as level as possible. I'm not releasing in 2021. And obviously, if the movie is going to be ready for a 2021 release, the earliest I want to release it is January 2022. I think overall Paramount is just making a big brain move here. The one aspect of this movie that's making me a little bit nervous is the writing team. So we know that Kevin Williamson is just executive producing on this one instead of writing, and one writer, Guy Busick, I'm super excited about because he's the guy behind Ready or Not, which has a great script if you ask me. But then on the other hand, you've got James Vanderbilt, who did movies like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Independence Day Resurgence. Just a lot of crap on his resume that I don't really like, so hopefully Guy Busick is pulling most of the weight here. And finally, just to cap things off here, we did actually get a quick look at the Ghostface mask that's going to be used in this movie in the release date announcement that was on Twitter. The good thing is there's nothing really that new about it other than the fact that it kind of looks like brushed aluminum instead of just cheap white plastic, and that's pretty cool if you ask me. Also, I'm just happy they got Roger L. Jackson to come back and play the voice, because that was a really important aspect that was missing from the first 2 seasons of the TV show. Anyway guys, that's it for this week's Scream video. If you want to see more of them, make sure you let me know by hitting the thumbs up button, and also if you're new here, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and hit the notification bell. Also, let me know down in the comments what you think of everything I talked about today. I know there was a lot. Hopefully going forward we get some smaller news videos that don't have to cover everything that's been happening with the movie. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Shape on.